Hello, my fellow YouTubers. Once again, Sarge, USMC, hitting you once again. This time, I have a couple of recordings here. And in my book, these are the two most iconic recordings ever produced, ever made in the jazz world. And if you are a jazz man, a true jazz man, you're going to have these recordings in your library. All right, we're going to start with number one. It's Miles Davis, Kinda Blue. Now, Kinda Blue, you should have more than one version of it. I have three versions here of Kinda Blue on CD. This one is a SBM recording with a 20-bit remastering. Kinda Blue was 20-bit remastered. That's one recording, one version of it. This one I have is a SACD. All right, it's SACD in two versions: stereo and multi-channel. I was once into home theater, no longer. Because now it's strictly two-channel stereo. This is another version of Kinda Blue. This is also Super Audio CD, but this is only the stereo version. So if you're a die-hard Miles Davis fan, you're going to have more than one version of this recording. Say SACD stereo, SACD stereo multi-channel, SACD SBM 20-bit remastering. Miles Davis, you also got to have it on vinyl. This is Kinda Blue. This is a 200 gram vinyl, super vinyl profile. Kinda Blue, Miles Davis. All right. And you will also have, I bought this a few years back. It's the Kinda Blue Special Edition. This was $100. I probably had it 10, 15 years when it first came out. So, if you're a true diehard fan, you're going to have this recording from Miles Davis, Kinda Blue. And what I like about Kinda Blue, why it's number one in my book, it's got 6 tracks. And every freaking track is a hit. Every freaking track will blow your mind. That's very rare. Miles Davis, Kinda Blue. I'm going to do a little reading about Kinda Blue. Wikipedia. It was released in 1959. Studio was Columbia 30th Street Studio, New York City. All right, I'm going to read this real quick. Kinda Blue is regarded by many critics as Davis' masterpiece, the greatest jazz album ever recorded, one of the best albums of all time. Its impact on music, including jazz, rock, and classical genres, has led writers to also deem it one of the most influential albums ever made. The LP was one of 50 recordings chosen in 2002 by the Library of Congress for the inaugural year of National Recording Registry. And in 2003, it was ranked number 12 on Rolling Stone's magazine list of the 500 greatest albums of all time. In 2019, Kinda Blue was certified 5 times platinum by the Recording Industry Association of America, RIAA, for shipments of at least 5 million copies in the United States. So Miles Davis, Kinda Blue. On this album with Miles Davis was a Julian Cannonball Adderley, saxophone, John Coltrane, saxophone, Bill Evans, piano, Paul Chambers, bass, drummer, Jimmy Cobb, another pianist, Wynton Kelly, only on Freddy the Freeloader. I mean, every track on this CD, I love it. My #1 best all times. You gotta have this CD in your collection if you're a jazz man. If you're not a jazz man, you still should have this CD in your collection. Kind of Blues, Miles Davis. My next one, Bill Evans. Take 5. Dave Brubeck. Where I get Bill Evans from. Dave Brubeck, Take 5. This album and Miles Davis Kind of Blue came out the same year, 1959. And it was recorded in the same freaking studio in New York. So Dave's Brubeck Quartet, Time Out. Once again, this has 7 tracks. And 7 tracks are all freaking amazing. And this was, every track you pick on this album will blow you away. And also, you gotta have this on vinyl. So I got Dave Brubeck, Take 5 on the vinyl also, as well as the CD. I probably upgrade this vinyl. And I got Miles Davis on vinyl twice here, with 3 versions of the same CD. Now let's read what Wikipedia has to say on Dave Brubeck. These albums are so similar, it's amazing. Let me bring this up real quick. This is Time Out, Dave Brubeck. Wikipedia. Okay, this album recorded December 1959. Columbia 30th Street Studios. Same exact studio as Kind of Blue. The genre they call West Coast Jazz. Alright. So the album peaked at #2 on the Billboard Pop Albums chart and was the first jazz album to sell 1 million copies. The single, Take 5, off the album was also the first jazz single to sell 1 million copies. By 1963, the record has sold 500,000 units. Released in '59, but by 1963, the record has sold 500,000 units. And in 2011, was certified double platinum by the RIAA, signifying over 2 million records sold. The album was inducted into the Grammy Hall of Fame in 2009. The album was selected in 2005 for preservation in the United States National Recording Registry of the Library of Congress as being culturally, historically, and aesthetically significant. So these 2 albums are very similar. And these 2 albums are the best 2 albums that I had in my library. So if you're out there, you got these in your library, dust them off and give them a spin. Miles Davis, Kind of Blue, Dave Brubeck, Time Out. Every track on both of these CDs are freaking awesome. These are my top 2 CDs that I have in my collection. I have over 3,000 CDs, and these are my top 2. All right, Sarge, USMC, Mix Match Stereo. Stay tuned. Oh, one more thing I forgot. I'm going to play So What from this track, which is I'll say the main song on here. They're all great. So one day I'm going to play So What on my Macintosh CD player, SACD player, the Macintosh MCD 550. I'm going to play Dave Brubeck on my modified Alpo UD205, modified by Dan Wright. The output stage is tube, and they got an outboard power supply, which is also tube rectified. All right, so stay tuned to hear these 2 albums I'm gonna play Davis first, So What? Then I go to Dave Brubeck, Take 5. So this will be on the Macintosh player. This will be on the Oppo player. All right, fellas, ladies, thanks for tuning in. Sarge, USMC, Mismatch Stereo.